Another episode of Dollars and Cents. Bruce is really not short. He just thinks that and says that when he's not supposed to be talking on camera. But he's only had 3 hours of sleep. That's okay. We're going to be back with more Dollars and Cents right after this bump. So stay tuned.
Putting the client first. That was my main priority some 20 years ago when I started the Resource Center, and it remains my priority today. That's why I wrote Finding the Courage to Retire, to help guide you confidently along a journey that should be the most rewarding of your life, from creating sustainable income and preservation strategies to understanding Social Security, Medicare, and much more. This book is the retirement roadmap you need. To get your free copy, just call or email our office today.
And we're back.
We are back.
Hey, I made an excellent financial decision yesterday evening.
Perfect. I want to hear.
Yeah,
I like to learn.
I was at Silver Dollar City.
Okay.
And I bought the...
you're not starting out real good, but go ahead.
Well, no, it's actually a really good deal down there. But I bought the tasting pass.
Oh, yeah.
The tasting pass. And
somebody else told me that's the way to go.
$35, you get this little lanyard around your neck. Now, you can't just eat anything in the park, but there's a list on the back, and you can pick 5 things. And I've done this 3 times, and I can eat a lot, but I can't eat as much as you can get. But that would be enough food for you for the entire day that you're down there.
Yeah.
And if you got one of those refill mugs, you can turn it into a really good day, really economical, really great food.
I was going to say, does that include drinks?
It doesn't. Well, there are some drinks on there, but they take one of your punches. So you're better off to have one of those refillable mugs, and then you can get the cheap refills on all that. Because I didn't want to waste a punch. I mean, the drinks you get, like, it's like the peach lemonade. They're really good drinks off of that thing. But I'd rather spend my punch on a pulled pork sandwich, jambalaya skillet.
How many of those did you have?
Well, I'm trying to think what I had. I had an ear of roasted corn. I had jambalaya skillet. I had a meatball sandwich, which was a full-size meatball sandwich. I got a blackberry ooey gooey butter cake, and I got a blackberry shake. So by the time the thing was over, I got way more than $35 worth of value out of it. And if you think what you would just go and spend at a mid-level restaurant at Chili's or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
It is a good deal.
Especially if you have a family. That's a good Silver Dollar City tip.
Yeah, because if you had like a couple of little kids, they could share one of those.
Yeah.
You could feed 2 or 3 little kids off of one of those tasting passes.
So there you go. You heard it here first.
Make your pilgrimage, your hillbilly pilgrimage, as you should.
I haven't had that much food in
Silver
a
Dollar
week,
City.
let alone one trip.
Well, it was really good. We had a great time. It's just summer nights down there right now, which means the park's open late.
Yeah.
So we didn't even leave the house to go down there until after 4 o'clock.
Wow.
So we got down there about 5:30.
Perfect.
The park was, it wasn't empty, but it was not crowded. It was still about 95 yesterday when we got there.
Yeah.
But, by the time we'd been there an hour, it had cooled off, and the weather was great. It was a good temperature, and we had plenty of great food to eat at Silver Dollar City. So we really enjoyed our trip down there. Yep.
Sometimes Missouri is really enjoyable after dark.
Yeah, there's some interesting things that go on after dark around there too. But if you really want to make some poor financial decisions, the Ozark Empire Fair starts tomorrow.
I know. So, that's going to go on all week. Now, Roy Rickstrew, our partner in crime.
Disability guru.
The disability guru. He's got a booth out there this year.
Does he now?
I am going to pull my duty. I am going to go out there and help him out.
Oh, great.
And it's been a very good benefit for the community to have him on board, because we are helping so many people with Social Security disability representation. And Roy's 26 years experience, and he knows his stuff.
Yeah, he's a fantastic resource. I rely on him when I have Medicaid
Constantly.
questions. he's my go-to guy.
Yeah.
For any Medicaid questions.
And that kind of brings up, the topic today is foundation. When people come and talk to me about financial stuff, we always seems like we have to get the backhoe and dig the trench for the footing and start all over because they've never built a financial plan on a foundation or an estate plan on a foundation. Right. We have foundational products that we use in the estate process, and we have the same thing in the financial side. And too often, people come in and start shingling the house.
Too soon.
And way too soon. And so I think, kind of a tip for this week's show is if you have not sat down and really ask yourself, not with anybody else, you and your wife sat down, what are your objectives? What are your goals? Financially? What are your priorities over the next year, over the next 5 years, over the next 10? And really establish that dialogue between you and the decision maker in your family, which is usually your wife.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that would be a recommendation. A lot of times I send people home with that homework. You guys, without anyone present, that way there's no influence. What's important to you about your money? That's what matters. Nothing else. Forget rate of return. If you're buying a product based on a rate of return, that's a mistake because interest rates are high right now in the bank. So everybody's buying product based on rate of return. And it's a mistake to make a decision only on that because when those rates come back down, at some point they will because the economy is struggling.
Sure. When
it comes back down, now what are you going to make a decision on? Because if there is no rate, how are you going to determine what's your process going to be? And it always falls back on the basics. Establish your foundation. What's important to you and your family. Then you search for the tools and you position your money with that in mind. And as things grow, then you adjust and reallocate. But that foundation has to be there for the life of your legacy.
No, 100%.
Yep.
And I liked your bucket analogy. And if you want to learn the bucket analogy, you need to call this guy.
That's right.
417-882-1800. Call the Resource Center. Say, I need to talk to Bruce.
The bucket guy.
And get
the
on.
The bucket guru.
Get on his schedule. You can pop in. I think we're done for this month, but next month, pop in. Check out a couple of our estate planning seminars.
Yep, we have 3 planned for next month.
That's one of the foundational elements of being secure is knowing what's going to happen if the plan doesn't go the way you expect it to.
That's right. That's what we've discussed when we set all that up.
And it's part of it. But thanks for being here, Bruce. And don't forget, folks, join us next week, once again, Wednesday morning for more Dollars and Cents.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.